denied my in-laws' only request for my wedding, and now it's all ruined. I'm very intrigued to know what the request was. Was it outlandish or was it reasonable? Let's see. This was posted August 2nd, 2025. You know what that means, baby. Hot off the press. I need some advice on the situation from an unbiased source. You have come to the right place. Me, 23 female, and my fiance, 27 male, are getting married in December. We got engaged in April, and I pretty much did all the planning myself with the help of my mom in the first few weeks. From the very beginning, my fiance and I had a plan laid out for the bridal party. That was one of the first things we decided since before I had the ring on my finger, including flower girls and ring bearers. We decided that the flower girl would be my sister's baby. My sister is also the matron of honor, who will be pushed in a stroller down the aisle by my 10 female cousin, who would be considered a junior bridesmaid. For the ring bearers, my fiance really wanted to include his best friend's son. For context, his friend has not had custody of his child for most of his life, long story, and it could be a little difficult to arrange his attendance. He will be around 1.5 years at the time of the wedding. As a result, we decided that we would also have my 2 cousins, 5 male and 7 male, the brothers of the junior bridesmaid, be ring bearers as well. This way, there's no pressure on the friend and everything will go smoothly, whether his child can end up coming or not. The older boys will help the younger boy walk down the aisle holding hands. We decided on these specific children because they are closely related / close to us, and they are the right age. Shortly after the engagement, I asked my sister and my cousin, the mom of those children, if their kids could be in the wedding, and I gave details of what they should wear, etc. The kids and parents were both excited. That was great, and everything was going according to plan, until a few weeks ago when my mother-in-law asked us if we would consider adding another flower girl. For context, my fiance's brother and best man, 24 male, lives across the country from us and has recently told us around 4 months ago that he has a new girlfriend, 21 female. This girlfriend has a child from a previous relationship, female 10 months, the baby. You guys know that. You're a lot smarter than I am. They have known each other for about 7 or 8 months. He is very serious about her and we are very happy for them. He has taken sort of a father role in her daughter's life, which is adorable. He's expressing interest in marrying her in the future, but they are taking it slow. My fiance and I have never met this girlfriend or her child, but we are thrilled for his brother, so we of course invited them both to the wedding. Now, this is where things get a little messy. I have always gotten along great with my fiance's family. They have always been so sweet, kind, accepting, and well-meaning. They welcome newcomers with open arms, including me, and they have become my family. I especially had a great relationship with my mother-in-law. She is the sweetest lady and would do anything for me and any one of her own children. She lives very close to us and my family lives far away. She was always the first to say that it's our wedding, meaning mine and my fiance, to encourage me to make my own decisions in wedding planning and not let my mother sway them. She has become like a mother to me in so many ways. With that being said, they are also very loving and accepting of my fiance's brother's girlfriend and her baby from afar, which is great. I'm so glad that they are so supportive. They even started calling her baby their first grandchild and flew across the country to meet them. With this context in mind, a couple weeks ago when my mother-in-law and I were hanging out, just the 2 of us, she asked me if I would consider adding the girlfriend's baby as a flower girl. She said fiance's brother keeps bringing it up and it would be really cute. I politely told her that we already had a flower girl, my niece, and my junior bridesmaid assigned to push her in the carriage. She responded by saying essentially, "What's one more? She will probably be able to walk by herself down the aisle by then," at 14 and 15 months. I kind of just said I would think about it with my fiance and I just changed the subject. Later on, I told my fiance about it and we both agreed that it wasn't a good idea because number 1, we already had the role filled and it would be sort of awkward to have a baby randomly walking next to the stroller with the other baby. And number 2, if she needed help walking, it wouldn't be easy for the 10-year-old to juggle 2 kids down the aisle. And number 3, we have never met her and she might not be comfortable walking down the aisle of a wedding where she knows nobody. And 4, they aren't married. And in the worst case scenario, if they break up, she's in all of the pictures. Oh, I never thought of that. Never even crossed my mind. But truly nothing really crosses my mind because it's all empty up there for the most part. I know that sounds harsh, but I come from a family where traditionally, if you are not engaged, you don't get a +1 no matter who you are. I am not following this rule and everyone's significant other is invited, but that doesn't mean they get to be in the wedding. My fiance and I were on the same page about this. We agreed to keep the bridal party the way it was. He talked to his brother and essentially told him that it was a no and everything was fine and everyone was on the same page until the other night. We were at my mother-in-law's house again, but this time my fiance was there too. Once again, mother-in-law brings up the flower girl thing and my fiance tells her that we already have the position filled and that's that. But then my mother-in-law tells my fiance how much it must mean to his brother since he keeps bringing it up. This brings out the empath in my fiance and he starts to have an open mind about it. Meanwhile, I'm still against it. And I start to say so with some of the reasons that I listed above. He's literally over there being like, let me have an open mind. And you're like, close it. Close your mind. Do not have an open mind. My mother-in-law points out that all of the children in the wedding are from my side except one, and that their side doesn't have any representation. Meanwhile, this is because there are no children on his side. She also points out that there are 3 little boys in the wedding, and why can't there be 3 little girls? At this point, she has convinced my fiance, and I'm an island. I'm still defending my position alone. She wasn't being rude or anything, but every reason I have, she seems to have a rebuttal. She keeps saying things like, they will get married one day anyways, and she's already part of the family. Then I start saying, we will think about it. And she's like, so sounds like a no. And I was like, we will consider it. She then said it was awkward and I was about to cry, so I just changed the subject. The whole time I felt like I looked like a major a-hole. It was really bad. My fiance has since apologized to me for being open to the idea in front of his mother when we had decided against it. From what he believed about his mother, he figured that she just would have an open conversation with us and not try to push her way. I figured it would not go that way. Later that night, he called his brother and told him it was for sure no, and we already had asked other people. His brother was sad, but he understood. I felt really bad and more guilty for making my fiance feel bad. In hindsight, I really should not have because of what followed afterwards. This is where my previous post left off. Oh, so you added the update together. Bless you. A lot has happened in the last few days. I was worried immediately after that conversation that his mother would tell his brother that my fiance was for it and that I was against it while we were at her place. My fiance said that he knows his mother well and that she wouldn't do that. The next morning, his brother calls him wanting to talk. The first words out of his mouth are, after our conversation last night, I talked to mom and she said that you were wanting to have her as the flower girl and your fiance, me, wasn't. Just as I thought would happen. And he goes on to say, as your brother, I want to make sure that you get what you want since it's your wedding. I was pissed. My fiance told him that we would still talk about it, but we already had agreed not to have her as the flower girl and that he should have not have seemed open to it last night. But is he open to it? Does he want it? Maybe he's just like telling you he doesn't want it to make you feel better. Like he's telling you what you want to hear, but he might not have a problem with it at all. The whole day we discussed it. I felt like an a-hole and was tempted to cave to keep the peace, but the only reason my fiance was wanting it was because it meant a lot to his brother. But the conclusion we came to was that it is not his brother's wedding. So we called him up a few hours later and told him for the 3rd time. He was upset, but at least it was over, or so we thought. He texted him the next morning again, expressing how hurt he was by it. But at this point, we were like, the decision is made. It's our wedding. Please get over it. And then my fiance's brother enlisted their mother. She calls my fiance and basically attacks him for almost an hour on the phone. My fiance did a great job at sticking up for us and sticking to his guns. His mom went as far as to say that my relationship with his whole family will forever be affected by by this decision. That one hurt, and that my fiance's relationship with his brother will forever be altered. At this point, this is all going way too far. We ended up talking to my fiance's sister and found out that his brother no longer wants to be the best man anymore, and that neither of them want to speak to us for a while. They said that this won't be resolved until we give in. I'm at a loss for words. This doesn't even feel like a real situation, to be honest. I feel like I'm in a twilight zone. We are definitely not going to give in. At this point, all that it would tell them is that if they push hard enough, they can manipulate us. It really just hurts because we had such a great relationship before this. I've done a lot of like wedding stories, and people always say wedding planning can ruin relationships. And I've seen it happen in my life. Not my wedding, but I've seen it happen where friendships get destroyed. Someone's no longer in the wedding party. Y'all, this is supposed to be a happy time. Let's check out the top comments so far on this post. Someone wrote, your mother-in-law and brother-in-law are being crazy, but your fiance really messed this one up by waffling about it in front of his mother and making you look like a bridezilla. None of this would be an issue if he didn't do that. Interesting. So if fiance told his mom, it's a no, this is what we decided, that's it, maybe it would have gone differently. I don't think so. I think mom still would have been persistent. Next comment. Most of this is the fiance's fault, unfortunately. The family are being extremely pushy and inappropriate, but he allowed them to do that by giving them room. He should have said, okay, mom, we'll have a think. Instead, he left OP out to dry, and now everyone thinks it's her fault. He should not have given an inch without discussing it with OP privately. Now he needs to sit his brother and mother down to tell them that they, as the wedding couple together, do not want any more flower girls, and that this is not up for debate. If you can think of another role for this girl, I might consider it, but I am not sure if I would at this point. Honestly, I'd be tempted to just scrap the children and the wedding party altogether if it was me. If grown-ups can't be trusted to keep their opinions to themselves, then maybe that's the easiest option. Oh, but those kids didn't do anything wrong. They're probably so excited to be in the wedding. We have an update, but let's hydrate first because we need to. I don't make the rules. Drink some water. Cheers. Technically, I do make the rules though on this channel. All right, the next update came 3 days later. Thank you to those of you that gave great advice and were trying to help the situation. Your insight really opened our eyes, mine and my fiance. A lot of you hit the nail on the head. Brother-in-law is the golden child and has always been favored greatly over my fiance by their mother. Brother-in-law is the youngest and his mother has been coddling him his whole life. My fiance is the oldest and tends to be the peacemaker and will sacrifice. A lot of you also called out triangulation manipulation. There's a tongue twister. We're gonna see if I can say it 5 times fast without messing up. Oh my God. Triangulation manipulation, triangulation manipulation, triangulation manipulation, triangulation manipulation, triangulation manipulation, triangulation manipulation. I don't even know if I said triangulation right in some of those. I think I did. That wasn't bad. I do better with words when I'm doing it like that than I do just reading a story. I don't know what that says about me. I told my fiance this and he said that his younger brother often would rope his mom into the arguments, get her to take his side, and then get my fiance in trouble no matter how ridiculous or wrong my brother was being. He mastered the art of triangulation manipulation from a young age. My fiance would just take it and apologize to keep the peace. For those of you who said it's ridiculous to have a child we've never met and are not related to, and have not even met her mother, as such an important part of our wedding party, thank you. I was feeling like the crazy one for thinking this. Also, information. I was being gracious when I said that they have been together for 8 months. They have known each other for 8 months and only been dating officially for 4 months.
I've got a carton of milk in my refrigerator I've had a longer relationship with.
The wedding is further away from the length of their whole relationship. It is bizarre that they are pushing so hard for this. For those who said that we should have granted their request and just kept the peace, my fiance has been doing that his entire life with his family. This is probably why they resorted to their usual manipulation tactics. He never actually wanted to have this baby in our wedding. He in fact thought it was pretty ridiculous of them to ask. He He was just ready to cave because he always does to keep the family peace. At the expense of himself and his needs/wants every time. Except the difference is, this time the wedding is about him. It is his day and not his brother's. The neighbor's mowing the lawn right outside the window. In his pajama shorts. Are those boxers? What are you doing out there? Put on some clothes. I'd show you, but that would probably be illegal and inappropriate to film this person. Well, ignore the sound because it's there. On to the update. A lot has happened. Today, my fiance went to see his dad and then his mom. They are separated. His dad is neutral, but has been sticking up for me for this whole thing. I have a great relationship with him. He filled us in on a lot. Here's essentially what has been happening. Turns out, brother-in-law's girlfriend has more to do with this than we thought, as some of you suggested in the comments. She is the one who has been encouraging him to push for this because it means a lot to him, and being super offended and making a big deal about us saying no. Personally, if it was me, I would never ask someone if my kid could be in their wedding, even if it's family, but forcing it on strangers is wild. My fiance found out from talking to his dad that my mother-in-law and brother-in-law are spreading a whole bunch of lies. Here's all what has unfolded. Mother-in-law is telling people I'm racist. And that's why I didn't want the baby in it. Apparently the baby and mother are Filipino, which I honestly didn't even know because once again, I've never met them. They live across the country. I don't even know their last name. But still, I don't care what race they are in the slightest. The girlfriend now believes this and doesn't even want to come to the wedding anymore. That's her choice. Also, the wedding party is diverse ethnicities. So how is it that I'm racist? My brother-in-law is telling people that we are judging the girlfriend and don't want her child in the wedding because she was born out of wedlock, which is ridiculous. 2 of the children who are already in the wedding were also born out of wedlock, 1 from each side. They have been talking behind our backs, gossiping, making up lies about me, and assuming things about me that aren't true. Very serious things as well. My brother-in-law is twisting and changing my fiance's words into complete lies that make him seem like the victim. He is feeding these lies of things my fiance did not say to not only his mother, but his sister and his dad. My sister-in-law and father-in-law are both neutral and won't take sides, but think that this whole thing is insane and they want it to end, as we do too. They both see that they are doing this whole thing and hate me for no reason. So today, my fiance went to see his mother to essentially call her out for her behavior. She was absolutely hysterical and was not ready to listen to reason or logic. She deflected and denied and lied about things that we knew were in fact true. She refused to take responsibility or any sort of blame for the situation getting out of hand. She just deferred back to blaming me for everything and making me the villain herself and her precious baby son, brother-in-law, being the victim. Meanwhile, the last time I spoke to either of them was when we had that conversation with my mother-in-law at her house, where my fiance slipped and this whole thing started. My fiance has been handling this whole thing and even trying to shield me from the blame and take it all for himself. It's not working. Mother-in-law and brother-in-law have made this whole thing up in their heads and driven themselves and everyone else crazy over it. Meanwhile, all I've done is express my concerns for having a child in the wedding that we don't know when they aren't engaged or married, and the fact that we already filled the roles. She denies favoring brother-in-law and claims that she is hurt by the accusation, and then in the same breath favors him and defends him. I feel the worst for my fiance because he doesn't even want anything to do with them anymore and does not feel the need to keep up these relationships. He said that his mother expected him to fall on his face today and apologize for everything because that is what he was forced to do growing up and that is exactly what they are used to. But now that I'm an extension of him, he's not letting me/us get treated this way. He is angry that they are selfishly trying to turn our day to make some grand gesture to his brother-in-law's girlfriend he's been dating for 4 months, and that they refuse to respect our wishes. He is shocked and disappointed that they are lying about us and creating drama around our wedding. He is saying goodbye to this toxic cycle and going to go no contact until they come to their senses and fix this mess. For those of you who asked, we are in premarital counseling with our pastor, who is also our officiant. He is bewildered that they even requested this in the first place and shocked and dismayed that they have turned it into such an ordeal. Anyways, this wasn't the update we hoped for, but it's the one we have. Hopefully one day things will turn around. We are hoping mother-in-law at least comes to her senses, considering we are the only family that lives near her. Maybe she will learn to support the son and daughter-in-law who will one day birth the grandchild that she actually has a shot of seeing regularly, rather than blatantly favoring the son and girlfriend who live across the country. But for the time being, this is it. I'm wondering, what if they don't come to their senses before the wedding? Are you still gonna have them at the wedding? Are they still invited? Very curious. We have a top comment. It was pinned on the second update post. Someone wrote, "This woman has called you all sorts of terrible things, made up lie after lie about you. She treats your fiance like scum, you having to password proof and security guard your wedding because of her. Why would you ever, for any reason, let her around your future children? She'll treat them like she treats your fiance and let them know how horrible you are. Their visits with grandma will be filled with stories about how horrible Uncle Perfect was treated, how racist you were for not letting Cousin Perfect be in the wedding. If, of course, he's still with the girlfriend. How sad she is and how you made her sad. As soon as brother-in-law has a kid, she'll be too busy with the child from her golden child to even pay attention to your children anymore. Why would you subject your children to that? Damn." OP wrote back to that saying, "Oh God, you might be right. Never thought of this, but totally would. She did this with her own kids against her own husband." Oh boy. Let me know what you guys would do in this situation, all right? I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Bye.